like, I understand he is very overhated for the amount of hate that man gets, right?
Scooter?
He drives a lot of clicks.
Kind of did it.
Good God, man. The people that are also like, he is 100% in the right every time. It's very weird.
They defend that dude like he's Johnny Cochran. Like, it is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
And again, like, Shedeur is way overhated. Like, the amount, like, draft night was insane.
It's both.
But yeah,
it's a spectrum.
We'll see, man. Could be starting for the Ravens.
The Shedeur spectrum.
Are we live?
Oh, we're live.
Yeah, we've been live.
Oh, we've been.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another glorious episode of Clickbait Sports. We've got the 5 OG members today. We are 5 strong, 5 points vids, urinating tree, Brandon Perna, Tom Grossi, and myself, Scooter Magruder. This is an iconic week because this is the first time that none of our teams have lost on Clickbait.
Technically.
Well, listen, I just want to apologize to the audience because we were late because Scooter and Tom were tied up.
We'll be here all night.
Okay.
Tip your waitresses.
There's no defending that.
You know what?
I think YouTube just pulled us.
We just got demonetized.
Yep. The NFL has banned us.
But yes, all of our teams did win this week, except the Dallas Cowboys. And
look at that.
It's
his punishment, free 4.
Yeah, look at that punishment, free.
They sent me a small. I didn't know. I did not
know
it fits. Small, but I got
it. So it
fits like
perfectly.
A glove, man.
Yeah, that looks like a kid's shirt right there, being worn by a kid.
It's more constrictive than the cell Reishi Rice is going to be in for 30 days. Ooh.
You know, it does look good on you.
It does,
guys,
yeah.
Remember,
it probably feels tight around the chest.
Your donations go to. They go to punishing us. Micah Parsons jersey, Green Bay jersey is on the way, as well as I still have to wear a Speedo. But that is neither here nor there. Let's just get straight into this tie between the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers. Before me or Tom speaks, we want to know what your guys' reaction was to this game, 40-40 tie.
I'll go first. My favorite stat out of the game was once it's all said and done, the Cowboys are number 1 in offense number 1 in offense and dead last in defense. Like if that's how the Cincinnati Bengals were trying to design their team, they came up with the Dallas Cowboys. That is the most hilarious stat. You're scoring points, but giving up points at an alarming rate. And also the game was hilarious. Y'all's reactions were hilarious. I will let everyone else cover that tremendously cringe ending. So you guys have at that, but the Dallas Cowboys statistically is the funniest thing going on right now.
All right, Tree or Perna, what was your reaction to this glorious tie?
I felt like I was drunk the entire time. I might have been, but I'm just saying, just watching it, I'm like, what? Nobody could defend. I mean, it's more damning about the Packers because I mean, we know the Cowboys defense isn't good, but Green Bay's defense, they stuffed 2 legitimate offenses in the Commies and the Lions, and Dak Prescott's just picking them apart left and right. It's just Dak just masterful, probably the best performance he's had in his career, if we're going to be completely honest here. And Scooter's sitting there swelling with pride because he's been his main prophet. But I'm just saying it's, dude, how many buttholes were clenched after that final play, and it ends with exactly 1 second left?
I was like, they're gonna run out of time.
Yeah, and ironically, Eberflus is on the other side, so I feel like he's having like some sort of phantom pain, like like just bat in the background again.
That's fair. That is
Right.
fair. Perna, your reaction to this epic game with an unepic ending.
Yeah, I think what I said was the game ended in a tie, but it felt like the Cowboys won the game.
It did.
It felt like the Cowboys were happier to get the tie than the Packers. Now, in the waning seconds of the game, the Packers were just happy to get the tie because they were on the verge of losing. But overall, I think everybody expected the Cowboys to lose. So the Cowboys walking out of there with the tie feels like they had a moral victory +1. Moral victory +1 is what a tie is.
Okay.
But yeah,
Super
I mean,
tie.
I think like if you're a Cowboys fan, you have to feel really good about Dak Prescott right now because they did all that without CeeDee Lamb on the field. Your run game on offense looks better, and now you have the Cowboys kind of have to. I feel like the Cowboys have to do what the Lions did last year, and they're going to have to go into shootouts with every team they face. The difference is your defense isn't like overly injured; it's just not that good yet. And so maybe over the course of the season it can get better. But
That is definitely
I think
the
the
hope.
Packers are still good. Dallas played a nice game too, so we'll see.
All right, and now Tom Grassi, let's get your take on this game. It was a shootout. What was your reaction though to
Yeah,
this?
I think obviously like that was kind of the biggest surprise going into this because like what was said is like the first 2 weeks, the Green Bay Packers defense it looked like one of the best in football, right? And especially with what the Lions are doing now, it's like, holy cow. And you could chalk it up to week 1, you could chalk it up to a bunch of things, but it was like, damn, they really did well. Then they held the Commanders in check when they still had Jay and Daniels. And obviously they lose that game against the Browns, but they hold them to 13 points, right? And those 13 points all happen within the last 4 minutes of the game. I think a big shift that happens in this Dallas Packers game is when Devontae Wyatt goes out. When he went out, that was the drive right before you guys started scoring all those points before halftime. That was like a huge difference maker because then they weren't getting any pressure up the middle whatsoever. So I think that played a major factor. But yeah, I think it was just where the hell did the pass rush go? And you got to give a huge amount of credit to Dak, like was said before. Like he played a phenomenal game. And Jordan Love played really, really well too. It was just, I think that was the most disappointing thing is that our pass rush was not able to get home, even if it wasn't Micah Parsons, who got the only sack of the night, Lucas Van Ness, Rashawn Gary, who lost his sack streak. All those guys, weren't getting the kind of pressure that you would expect of them. And then on top of that, man, like our O-line couldn't run block for diddly squat. Like your defenders were always in the backfield. So it just turned out, okay, we're just going to have 2 quarterbacks going at it. And yeah, man, I was pretty nervous at that very last play because I thought we literally Eberflus the game. And that would have been.
I thought the time ran out. I would like a recount on that time. But for me, this is what I've been trying to say about Dak Prescott. Through 4 weeks, he is playing like the MVP of the league. The EPA support.
EPA is even better now, apparently. But
I'm saying Dak is playing out of his mind, and he's going to need to the rest of the season with the way our schedule's set up, as well as the way our defense has been playing. If we just had an average defense, this Cowboys team would be elite. But our defense is literally weighing down our offense. For me, though, it was a pleasant surprise. This, I think, was George Pickens' coming out game. He looks like a true number 1. I retract anything negative I have ever said about George Pickens. We are going to be signing him. Him and CD are going to be a nice pair for the long haul. Javonte Williams has been a welcome surprise this year.
You're welcome.
We just need to find something or someone on the defensive line. I really think we are going to make a trade here as the deadline gets closer and closer. I do think we may trade a 4th or 5th round back
for what?
To bolster our linebacker core, which is absolutely garbage.
Kenneth Murray shouldn't be starting. He's trash.
Jack Sanborn runs a 5.740. This is really the worst linebacker core I've seen back there in a while. Maris Leofau, when he had that late hit, I thought that was the game was over and the Packers were going to win because he had that 15-yard penalty at the end of the game. But I think the better question is, does this trade, or does this game rather, vindicate Jerry Jones trading Micah Parsons in your minds? That's what I want to know.
He seems to think so. Oh, Jerry was talking a whole lot. He's like, we got the guys that we got, and they got Micah Parsons, so we tied. So
hey, they can always use those first-round picks to trade for a star caliber player. I wonder, you think Green Bay would be willing to give up Micah Parsons for, say, those 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark?
Well, here's my take. Here's what I want you guys to think about when I'm referencing this question. Micah Parsons was graded the number 1 overall defensive player according to PFF. Number 1.
He did, but it was also Woody Johnson.
But if you have a player that is getting paid $47 million, who, while he is ranked number 1 overall in the PFF ranking system, and your defense still gives up 40 points, is it really worth $47 million a year for that player? What is your response to this?
The first
Technically, it was 38 points.
3 games looked really good. I mean, like, this is the worst defensive performance they have had, right? Like, by far. So, and at the same time, like, Micah Parsons still isn't playing every single snap.
Who?
So I will say Micah Parsons saved that game, because if he doesn't sack Dak there, at the line, like, he's probably running in for a touchdown. So
I watched that play again. There was another defender there. I'm not sure
he
Dak
was turned around, man. I know you're talking about. It was literally right there. I don't know. It doesn't matter at the end of the day because he makes the tackle. But yeah, I mean, but that's going to be the question over the next 2 years, right? Is if the Packers can get over the hump and potentially go and win a Super Bowl, then it's going to be worth it. But we don't know here at week 4. But yeah, this defense they looked, and that's why I didn't even put the Packers in the power rankings this week, because I have no idea who they are right now. Because like, I did not expect that kind of defensive performance. I know why it's out, but I did not expect that kind of performance after those first 3 weweeks.
And to be fair, both teams were dealing with a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball.
Dude, you were torching us and you didn't have CeeDee Lamb. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like,
And
who the hell
George Pickens was a monster. So he was all over the field.
That's the issue with George Pickens. When he isn't crashing out, the dude's an insane talent. And I mean, he didn't crash out today, which
Also, Tom, who is Micah Parsons? I thought his name was Michael Parsons.
Hey, listen, Michael Parsons. That's it. Also, I had the hat on in the background for the Sunday game for the Vikings. So that punishment, I'm pretty sure I might have called him Micah Parsons during a commercial, but during the game we were good. So
okay, technicality.
Oh,
So I just want to interrupt 1 second. The Detroit Tigers are now up 6-1 on the Cleveland Guardians. The Cleveland Guardians, one of the longest championship drought, 77 years and counting. The last time they won a World Series was in 1948 in the old Cleveland Municipal Stadium. They are hurting right now.
Imagine overcoming a 15.5 game deficit just to die to the team you overtook. And Detroit just collapsed. This is the first time they've scored over 5 runs in a game since like September 7th.
William,
that is crazy. What also was crazy is that the New York Giants defeated the Los Angeles Chargers. And not only that, they looked pretty decent doing it. 5 immediate reaction to this game. Did you see this coming?
I did not. I was completely prepared to have tears in my coffee all day, and just the defense showed up, which was amazing. And Jackson Dart is serviceable. If Russell Wilson, as 3 of the 5 members of the Clickbait posse have seen Russell Wilson play now, if anyone sees Dart play and Wilson play, the best thing about Jackson Dart is that his name is not Russell Wilson. and he did enough to get the win. And also Herbert, or a bear, if you want to call him that, just it's a very fun name to say, looked awful every time he got flushed from the pocket. The Chargers have some problems. And I think Denver is going to, Nick Bonito is going to have a field day, especially now that Joe Alt is down for a little while. So number one, Brandon, thank us. We did you a favor. We knocked them down an L. And number two, Jackson Dart Air is here, and you better be worried, Scooter, when we play you next, because we have this thing called optimism.
Do you think you're kind of overhyping Jackson Dart?
What was that question, 5 or Tree?
You think you're kind of overhyping him after a 150-yard performance where he looked passable, and just because he wasn't Russell Wilson?
Yeah, I am, because I have so little to go off of. I am going to clamp onto that and ride it to the finish line. That's all we're doing here.
The Giants did get the win over the Chargers, they also lost Malik Neighbors for the season. Was this a Pyrrhic victory in your mind?
It's ugly, and the thing that I really liked was they were using Neighbors in a way to mitigate double teams and mitigate all the attention. They were using them underneath. They were sending everybody out. They were like, all right, we'll take 7-8 yards out of Malik until you respect that. And then, of course, MetLife claims another victim. He planted as he leapt, and he just, before he even got in the air, something was wrong. So this happens. The problem with the Giants is their receiver core is so thin already, and relying on Jalen Hyatt, a guy that hasn't showed up for 2 years now, is not what we want to be doing. And Wandale, it's Darius Slayton. I love him. He's a great possession receiver. He is not a number one receiver.
Stat pad caught.
Mm-hmm.
I think with Dart, his passing numbers weren't like overwhelmingly impressive, and if you watched, there was probably some decisions there where once he learns to get rid of the ball a little more quickly, see the field better, like he held on to the ball a lot, and now he had success running. But what I will say, knowing how well the Chargers defense has played this year, that's a tough out for a rookie quarterback. So when you say like he did enough and you guys are optimistic, I think that's the accurate place to be in as a Giants fan. Like, hey, that first drive was great. He rushes in for the touchdown. There's nice chemistry on the field with him, and you got Scadaboo now. It sucks that Neighbors goes down, because that's probably going to bite you guys in the ass through the duration of the season. There's like no way around it. But if Dart can figure it out with like the other pieces, and you guys can win a few games and have some nice offensive performances, I think there's enough talent on your defense where exactly what we thought is going to happen, in that the Giants are going to have a shitty record, but you're going to look like a decent team. And it really is on to 2026
boys. It's Theo Johnson time.
But the problem is, it's like I don't know if Dable and Shane survive, but if say they eke out 6 wins, 7, then they're going to be on strong consideration. My big thing is why wasn't Dart the starter from week 1? You saw both of what they did.
I still don't think Dart should be starting personally.
Isn't Tyrell Tracy hurt too, or hasn't he been hurt?
You lose these games, and you get a high draft pick, and you help him out by getting a better O-line, then you put him out there.
When does Tracy come back?
They've been trying to invest O-line for a long time.
I read the injury report. I mean, he was out for that game. I'm not sure if he's going to be ready to go against the Saints, but it's clear that Scadaboo is asserting himself as the number one option, even with Tracy out healthy. But they haven't really made many holes for Tracy
through 4 weeks.
The guy's a dog. That's what he is. He runs the ball, he catches the ball. Him and Dart have that chemistry. All we need is a Cooper DeJean type, and we can have the trifecta of a white running back, white defensive back, and the quarterback who I get it that Jackson Dart has the iced out chain, but no one's fooled. That is one of the whitest kids I've ever seen. Back
I
there.
just don't know why you keep giving the ball to Scattaboo in short yardage, because he's gotten stuff like 8 times in a row from what I've seen.
He's run through some dudes too. That's why
He has run through some dudes.
Not on short distance, not on like 3rd and 1. It's always been like,
Adam, I can fix the Giants. I can fix the Giants.
What can you do?
You guys have something that the Bengals need, a quarterback. You got Jameis Winston. Okay, we've talked about this. You trade Jameis Winston to the Bengals, and in return, you ask for T. Higgins.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That I'm sure they'll accept.
And Jameis, you take T. Higgins and that money, and
then when Neighbors comes back, you have Neighbors and Higgins.
And if I know anything about the Bengals, they will gladly play ball with other teams who are interested in their very valuable players. At times, that makes sense for them to do so. The Bengals.
I just don't think they do that.
Speaking of the Cincinnati Bengals, they were able to put up 3 points against the Denver Broncos, who also in return put up 28 points. Take us through this victory. Did you see any progression in this game?
No.
Where are you at right now, Perna?
I'm at the Bengals are the worst team in the NFL, not named the Titans right now.
You're right. Yeah.
It's a tough competition between Tennessee and Cincinnati. I'm honestly a little angry that the Broncos didn't score more points against Cincinnati. We had a deep pass to Troy Franklin that went through his hands. I feel like that should have been a touchdown or get us into TD range. And Tom and I talked about this, I think Wednesday, but like the Bengals gave up, and you don't see teams. It felt like after a certain point, they just had no desire to be on the field. And that's a rare thing, because even like when a team's bad, they'll fight to the end. And sometimes we get annoyed, just like, okay, game's over. Why don't everybody just stop trying so we can run out the clock and go home? But like, see, their offense, they're averaging 50 rushing yards per game. They have 200 total on the season, which is atrocious. They can't protect Jake Browning. Jake Browning's not effective when he gets protection. They paid T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Trey Hendrickson, sort of. And I think we're seeing that actually Joe Burrow should win MVP this season. If they continue on this path, he should at the very least get the Peyton Manning 50th best player in the NFL after he didn't play all year for the Colts award this offseason, because dear God, I don't know how to fix the Bengals. Broncos, we'll see what they're made of when they play the Eagles on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it, but yes,
listen, I will not ever be rooting for you guys more than this week. Nice. I hope you go out there and kill it, and Bo Nix looks like a world beater. Any other thoughts on that game from anyone else?
I think that the Broncos should have, again, I agree, should have scored a lot more points. They could have put that game away a lot earlier, and they could have gone in big at half and cruised. But 28-3 is still a nice win. But Bo Nix still has some edges that are rough. Got to hit him with that 80 grit sandpaper and get those bumps and warts off of him. But he's, you got the win. So, but Cincinnati is awful.
The Bengals just need to do something, man. Like I truly don't think that you can go. I mean, you could talk about Zach Taylor being fired. You could talk about a number of things, right? And I think that Zach Taylor's seat should be very warm. We'll see if the front office agrees, because if Joe Burrow's out, they might be using that as an excuse of like, hey, here's why we're not going to get rid of him. But I truly don't know if their fan base can do this for the rest of the season. And I mean that it's because of the offseason that they had, right? Because this was their all-in year. I mean, we have given the Bengals so much crap over the years about how being so cheap and not paying guys. Listen, they paid T. Higgins, they paid Jamar Chase, right? It got all dragged out, and then the Trey Hendrickson then got dragged out. And all right, we'll have him for one more year. He'll finish out this season. And now that's a waste, because what's even the purpose of having him right now when he's gonna be leaving next year and you are not competitive at all.
Close.
So
I think the thing is,
you're either gonna have to trade for like a Jameis, like we talked about, or some kind of quarterback to try and make this somewhat salvageable, because Perna brought this up on Monday. Like Joe Burrow, there is zero incentive for him to come back in December if this team has won 3 games.
I mean, the thing is, like, even if you have Burrow in this game, you're losing by double digits. Like, Denver was that bad. I'm going to be quite frank, Brandon. I am very upset. You guys could have put up 70 on them if you tried.
I know.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, they were dead. Like, they were like roadkill, and the maggots were already infesting their body. That's how broken they are. It's just, they are just literally, it is real life necrosis and just rotting flesh. That's what the Bengals are. And honestly, that rotting flesh might have put up more of a fight than Cincy did.
But there's a lot of similarities. And I mentioned this when they went to the Super Bowl, but there's a lot of similarities to Joe Burrow and like Zach Taylor and that entire team, and Aaron Rodgers in the late Mike McCarthy years, in which, like, at that time when the Packers did not have a good defense, right? And it was kind of like, all right, Rodgers is kind of just doing it himself. You look at that 2016 run the table year, and it literally is the Aaron Rodgers show. And you look at the Bengals offensive line, which is not great. Chase Brown, who every fantasy analysis was like, oh my God, he's going to have the greatest season among seasons. He can't run behind that offensive line.
He has the worst run efficiency in the league.
It's horrific. So like they have no offensive attack. They have 2 phenomenal wide receivers. And right now they just can't do anything with it. And so, yeah, that side of the ball, it's ugly, man. And again, you got to give shout out to the Broncos. They have a good defense, right? Like that's one of the reasons why it was a tough night. Well, good God, man, it's ugly.
So if you're the Bengals, when do you make the decision to shut it down, fire sale, get what you can while you can, look towards the future?
Scooter's just hoping they trade to the Cowboys, Trey Hendrickson.
No, Trey Hendrickson is actually, he's going to San Francisco.
No, he's not
out there right now.
Absolutely not.
I'd say so. I mean, they've got a big Nick Bosa-sized hole they need to fill.
But the question remains, at what point do you say,
I don't think so, but
it's time to look towards the future? Is week 4 too soon? Week 5?
Let's see how I can wait till October is over. Sure, let's see if there's any kind of improvement.
Yeah.
So
I have
your schedule
very
coming
little
up.
hopes, but hey, I mean the Dolphins won their first game, right? And they look like they have. There's been some progress. You know, I mean that game was not pretty on Monday night either, and now with Tyreek Hill and that injury out, like he's going to be gone.
Oh my God,
So
was
You've got
horrific.
Lions. Bengals have Lions, Packers, and Steelers coming up, so they could. There's a chance they could be 0-7.
Yeah. The Bengals are lucky. They're lucky that Shedeur Sanders was
They won
doing
a
the
game.
mime bit this week, because I think more people are talking about the Browns in that situation than the Bengals, at least on ESPN. And you don't want anybody really talking about you right now, Cincinnati. That is the truth.
A team that a lot of people might not be talking about, but are having a great season thus far. Talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Aaron Rodgers, who were able to get the victory this week over the Minnesota Vikings. Tree, take us through what happened in this game. Are the Steelers legit?
I don't know yet. That's the problem. I know with the Vikings, they're injured to hell. Their offensive line's pretty much down to third stringers. Darisaw is back, but he's not the same. Like the Steeler defense was finally performing like the highest paid defense in football. They just feasted on Carson Wentz. They feasted on that running game, and they couldn't really get much of anything going. I mean, it was the fourth quarter. We won't talk about that. So let's not talk about that. But for the first 3 quarters, that was the best I've seen them play in a long time. Brian Flores' defense could do nothing against the quick game. Kenneth Gainwell had a breakout performance. I think he nearly had 100 yards, couple TDs. I mean, you can't really complain about much except for the fourth quarter when they nearly let the game slip away and half got greedy, half got cowardly at the same time. Like, if you're going to go for it on 4th and goal, why are you running out of the single back set on a halfback dive? I don't know. And then on a 4th and 1, you're in Boswell's field goal range. I'm surprised they didn't either try a field goal there or go for it on one of their quick passes. But I mean, at the same time, it is Carson Wentz. It is an injured Vikings team. You're 3-1. You're headed into the bye. You do have Cleveland coming up, so that's going to be a very low-score defensive grind. And I'm going to be honest here. It's I had them a 2-2 to start the year, so about where my expectations was. It is, to be fair, an easy schedule to start. But so far, I'm like in the more reserved phase because last year I went pretty much full bore, and then they imploded, and I'm just trying to prevent that from happening.
Do you think you would be 3-1 if Mason Rudolph was your starting QB?
That's the problem. I'm not sure.
No,
maybe because I feel like the Rodgers game was. Probably 2-2.
Rodgers was good week 1 in this past week.
Yeah, I don't know if he beats the Jets.
Did you watch Mason Rudolph last year?
Hey! Mason Rudolph is a legend.
He was
He's going to make
terrible.
football great again.
No,
Come on.
You guys would be so much worse.
Hey, Mason Rudolph was good for 3 games in 23. Don't give me that crap.
Well, the thing about the Steelers is because I think that there's some optimism after this past Sunday, and it's like you said, right? The Vikings are beat to hell, but the biggest thing is the defense looked good, right? And that has been a question mark over these first few weeks, and they actually established the run, which ironically Warren was out. So
Warren was out. Gainwell was your probably the biggest surprise.
And Gainwell looked really good, So I think that that's something to build upon because Rodgers is going to play his best ball because what are you, 41 now? He's going to play his best ball when he's able to snap the ball quickly, get it out incredibly fast, within the 2.5 seconds. And then that's how they're going to be able to move down the field. So if you're able to implement a running game on top of that, they're a balanced team. And the Steelers, they have the benefit, which you would never think you would say, the benefit right now of being in the AFC North. Look how we're talking about.
If they don't win the AFC North, I'm going to be disappointed at this point. This is pretty much the all according to Kekaku meme.
Yeah.
The Browns have no offense. They are a mess. Joe Flacco can't do anything. You have the Bengals imploding. I didn't have them doing much anyway because of their defense, but without Burrow, they're a mess. The Ravens have become the soap opera of the division. They're injured. They are destroyed. They're without Roquan for a couple weeks. They're without Marlon Humphrey. Nnamdi Madubuike is out for the season. Might be his career with his neck. Lamar has a hamstring issue. Who knows how finicky that can be. Nate Higgins, he's out for a bit. Ronnie Stanley went back out with injury. They got crushed by the Chiefs. And, at that point, you're just sitting there oh, my God. I can sadly relate to that because I've seen it with, the 17, 18 Steelers where, elite teams that should be going far just implode.
Sure.
Yeah, I saw it. I think it was Dan Orlovsky. He posted a video talking about the Ravens, and I think it's first and second down.
Yeah,
they run the least amount of any team in the league.
Oh my God.
And Derrick Henry has one of the highest success rates per run in the NFL.
They're not using Derrick Henry on 3rd and 4th and short
yardage. Casey, 8
NFL malpractice.
I know they're worried about the fumbles, but still, he's your offensive weapon.
That doesn't happen until the most crucial point in the game.
Justice Hill isn't bad, but he's not King Henry in a short yardage situation.
And that's also not why you signed King Henry. It literally is the whole reason not. Yeah. Real quick about the Seahawks. I really like them. Their offensive line looks to have majorly improved this year. So that's kind of nice, especially in the interior. Sam Darnold looks fine. They're establishing the run. They're looking pretty solid too. Defense looks good. My concern. But there's some question marks there. So
that's why I can't really get on board with them too, because they are a good team. They're solid at their peak. But the problem is they have those moments where it's that Cardinals situation, that should not have been a game.
Reek Woolen? What the hell happened, man?
He hasn't been good for the last couple of years. He had that big rookie year, and then
that seemed like a steep drop off. I was talking to Seahawks fans about this last week when we were streaming that game. That just feels like a damn. Okay, you could give some benefit of the doubt, but thought it'd be much.
What
better.
I know is Sam Darnold is better than Geno Smith so far. He's been a lot better.
Geno Smith
right now.
Geno Smith's back to Jets form, dude. It's not good. He is throwing picks left and right. The haters aren't just writing to him; they are delivering it priority to his house because it is bad. You can argue he it was a big reason they lost against the Bears.
Yeah, I'd say those 3 picks were pretty important.
That's
And
the
the
second
Chargers,
time
too.
this season.
Pretty substantial.
Mm-hmm.
All
And
right,
they're
we are
bad picks, too.
almost a quarter of the way through this season. My question to you guys has been, what has been the biggest surprise for you guys a quarter of the way through the season? I'll start it off with, I think the Saints are one of the best 0-4 teams in the NFL right now.
They at least try. I mean, that's all I can ask for out of them.
They
Spencer
are
Rattler
very
had one
competitive.
bad game, like not this past week, but the week prior. But he's not bad.
I think we said the Saints are the best 0-4 team in NFL history.
That's a trap game for
think
the
Lions
Giants.
might
I'll
have
tell you
been
that. The Giants should not smell their own crap. They should be worried about the Saints.
Best 0-4 team. They should raise that banner right next to their Super Bowl banner.
Where is that?
Best 0-4 team.
Do you think the
0-4 team ever.
Giants
Yes.
are going to win this game 5?
I'm not confident about it. You know, the Giants, yeah, they think they're great because they beat the Chargers, but I'm not calling
Might be
this
a close
a
game.
mini bye week or anything like that. Like somebody else on this panel would use that terminology.
Well, I don't think
but
the
no,
Giants
I don't think any
anyone
game.
ever.
Yeah, I don't think the Giants in any situation should take their opponent lightly, especially with the inconsistent offense, the terrible they're still bad in the red zone, and the play calling is pretty atrocious still from Mike Kafka. Nothing's changed in that regard. They did have a 4 turnover on downs when they were down in the red zone against the Chargers, so they know what they're doing when it comes to blowing opportunities. I'll tell
Are
you
the
that.
Eagles the best team in the NFL right now?
No, because quite frankly, they can't play a full 60 minutes.
Who's better than they are?
Lions.
Honestly,
Buffalo
I would say
Bills.
probably Buffalo doesn't really have a defense. They've nearly escaped 2 trap games. I wouldn't say that.
I'm actually curious
I would
about that Sunday
say
night game.
Lions. I would say potentially the Colts. They might be a better team.
The Colts.
No, I'm dead serious. Like the Colts are a strong offensive
Here's the
team.
thing.
They
I'm going to
deserve respect.
disagree with you, Tree.
And I
because-
think they were the epitome of mid.
Well, when you're a team that hasn't even put together a full game and you're 4-0, you're probably really good. When you win when you don't have it, you're
That's what I'm
usually
saying about the
pretty
Eagles,
good.
man.
You have
Did
the
you see that
base.
last game against? Did you see the last game against Tampa Bay? Did you see it?
Yeah, they
They
hung
played in the
around.
first
They
half.
ain't
It
got
was
it
an
done.
absolute-
absolute
second half.
wreck. Like they couldn't do
Mhm.
anything offensively in the second half. They didn't complete a pass.
How could you say the Colts are better than the Eagles right now?
Man,
Play
when
full
you have
60-minute
Scooter
games.
defending the Eagles, you know you messed up. This
Well, I
is
just
not-
mean
no.
That
the
is a
common
hot take.
opponents, Eagles have beat the Rams, Colts have lost to the Rams. The Colts have only really beaten the Dolphins and the Titans, which are 2 terrible teams, and barely beat the Broncos by 1 point.
Well, the Broncos are a good team, and they would have beaten the Rams if it
Are
weren't
the
for
Broncos a good team?
Adonai Mitchell deciding to showboat and fumble. Like they would have won that game.
I don't
I
know
don't
if Colts are like the best team in football. I'm not waiting to go that
No.
far, but after this after this loss against the Rams, like they deserve a ton of credit because the Rams are a good team. Right,
They're
and I-
sneaky good. Probably the
And
most
I think you
underrated
gotta
team in
give credit to
football.
the Eagles, man. Like I agree, they have not played a full game of football, right? Like because whether it was last week against the Rams, right? They didn't even show up in that first half. They show up in the second half and they crawl back and win that game. Same thing here, except it's the first half they show up. They don't really show up in the second half. And it feels like just the Eagles, I don't know, man. We haven't even seen them get it going yet. And maybe they never do. And they're still 4-0, right? Like I think they're just a gritty ass team. And yeah, especially in that NFC, I think there's going to be few teams that are going to be able to get some wins.
It is unfortunate. I do know for a fact AJ Brown is getting impatient with
Of
this
course.
offense.
Mm.
So we'll see how long he is able to hold out. But I think the Eagles, unfortunately, are a top tier team right now just because they keep finding a way to win. They actually have won 20 of their last 21 games somehow,
Mhm.
which is ridiculous.
The Colts, I want to see the
close.
Colts and Jaguars play because
Mm.
I didn't expect the Jags defense to be this good so far in this season. That would be a big surprise for me. It is the turnovers they're creating and generating and getting, right? Like, so the Jags being good their defense being so opportunistic is a big surprise, but Jags and Colts don't play until December. So like, we're going to have a long time to wait to see kind of, I think, how that division's going to shake out. I'm also honestly surprised how the Broncos are not at 3-1 at this point. I want to say 4-0 because there's two things that are just crazy with the Broncos right now that don't make sense in terms of you're looking at numbers and stuff, and their 2-2 record. They have a positive overall point differential in every quarter this season. Overall, positive point differential every quarter this season. They lead the league in quarterback pressures and sacks, and we managed to lose 2 games, and they have never trailed in the fourth quarter this season either. So a month of this, and you're going to that Colts game where the Colts get a win on a silly penalty. They lose to the Rams because of some silly stuff that happened with A.D. Mitchell. The Eagles beat the Rams because of a silly blocked field goal that went for a touchdown. And then we lost to the Chargers because they kicked a field goal at the end of the game. So it's like, when you're talking about all these teams that are playing well, and I haven't put the Broncos really in that conversation because I've been just frustrated with how some of those games went. You're like the Eagles. These are all teams that are like their entire records hinging on like one play in every game right now. Even
Cowboys should have beat the
down
Eagles.
to the Packers and Cowboys. It literally there's a second on the clock for that game to just be a tie.
Yep.
So there's a couple really bad teams, but there's a lot of really, I think, pretty good teams right now. And I don't think we really have a clear beat on who the best team in the league is at this moment. And there's teams like you mentioned the Ravens being really injured. The 49ers got to play tonight without half their roster.
Yep.
And
they have no receivers.
It's
Like the best
everybody.
receiver right now is Jake Tonjes. Actually, you want to speak of injured teams, Tampa Bay. Like they are getting shredded right now. And we're not even noticing it because the Niners are just destroyed. Like Baker's dealing with an injury. No Mike Evans. Their offensive line's patchwork at this point. They're without Cody Mock for the season. Gedeke, he's out for a bit. Wirfs has been out since the start of the year.
He came back.
But Bucky's like in a walking boot, so he's like kind of day to day.
I think he misses.
And defensively, they're dealing with like woes too. So I mean, to be 3-1 in that regard for both teams is kind of impressive, even though they haven't played the prettiest football.
It's crazy how it's going to be to look back on what's happening right now, maybe 4 months from now, and see how everything plays out.
Yeah,
I do think we all know what is holding back the Denver Broncos, though, and we just don't want to say it. But I think deep down, you know why the Broncos are not undefeated. Brandon Perna.
Progression.
We are going to now pivot. Since we've already been talking about the 49ers, why don't we just preview this Thursday night football game? Who do you guys have in this game tonight? It's going to be the Rams versus the 49ers.
Hold on. Let me just address this Saquon thing because I am terrified that Saquon has not had a big game.
He'll be on
And he's saving it for the Broncos Sunday morning. I think he's got like his yards per carry are also really bad in addition to not having his 100-yard game yet. It just feels like the Eagles, they might not even play a complete game, but Saquon's going to get $180 and have like 3 rushing touchdowns.
I don't know.
And the Broncos are going to still have a lead in the fourth quarter and freaking lose to Philly. And it will be Saquon.
It'll be a pick. It'll be a
anyway. Tonight's
awful.
game. Sorry, Scooter.
I'm just saying Javonte Williams does have a better yards per carry than Saquon Barkley at this point.
That's crazy.
Who's starting for the Niners?
Mac
Mac
Jones.
McCorkle Jones is in. They are banged up. They've got no receivers. The Rams are a good team. Puka Nacua, the coolest name to say in all of the NFL.
500
it
yards
just
in
rolls
4
off
weeks.
my
Ricky
tongue.
Pearsall's out.
The dude is so good, he made a cornerback retire. That's all you have to say.
Yes. I think that the Niners get beat up pretty bad. It should be like something ugly, 30-10 or something like that. maybe a scoregami. That's the only thing to root for. But I think we know who's going to win this game.
McCorkle.
I mean, the thing is, I'm just going to play devil's advocate here because everyone said the Packers were going to kill the Cowboys. Everyone said, look, it's any given Sunday or in this case Thursday.
It's a divisional game.
It's possible.
Sure.
Divisional games are always hard. I thought we were going to kill the Giants. We end up going super far with them. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be such an easy win. It's all I'm saying.
Yeah, just like last week. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, like, the biggest problem so Brock Purdy came back this past Sunday, right, against the Jaguars, and he struggled, but it wasn't fully on him. The 49ers offensive line, which you kind of were already starting to get worried about for years about their depth there, they did not look good. And I think that going up against this Rams pass rush, and considering they don't have Juwan Jennings, there you go, Ricky Pearsall, they also don't have Purdy. Like, this could be a long game on offense. If CMC can get something going, then they got a shot. But I got the Rams winning this game. The O-line of the 49ers concerns me, and they already have a litany of injuries, but
all right, so they don't have Brandon Ayuk, who's on IR, their number one receiver. Juwan Jennings is not playing. Ricky Pearsall, their number 2 receiver, also not playing.
He's having a good year,
their number 1 receiver right now.
Go Gators.
And then they got Jordan Watkins also out. They have who's going to catch the football? Christian McCaffrey's got to be just lining up as receiver every play for this game.
It's going to be a couple of equipment managers and ball boys.
Yeah. If the 49ers win, I'm going to lose all faith in the Rams as a playoff team at this point.
Honestly,
there's no reason on earth the Rams should lose this game.
Wait. We're speaking of wide receivers. We already have one in this room right now. This guy right here.
Tommy Grass.
Yeah. Assign him.
It's like the 49ers looked up and said, "Save us." And I whispered, "No."
Yeah. Damn, that's rough.
That's what I like to hear.
Hey, you can be a saboteur for every time they beat the Packers in the playoffs.
Exactly. So the answer is no.
I have two questions for you guys here.
Fan of the year.
Sort of generic questions before we get the final score predictions. First off, should sacks be allowed for 0 yards?
Oh my God.
Yes.
You waited until we were nearly 50 minutes in to be like, that Micah Parsons sack really doesn't count, guys.
This is a serious question. Should you be allowed to have a sack for 0 yards? Isn't that just a run attempt at that point?
I think if the quarterback doesn't, because they judge it at the line of scrimmage, right? If he's tackled behind the line of scrimmage, sack. I think the quarterback has to gain at least a full yard for it to not count as a sack.
A full yard?
Yeah.
So if you get like 0.5 yards
because he's running for his life, that should be a sack. Okay. Or at least a half sack.
Okay. All right. Interesting perspective. Five or Tree, your thoughts? Should there be sacks for 0 yards?
I mean, they allow forward passes behind the line of scrimmage, which I feel is like those little toss plays that count as passing yards. So I feel like if that's the case, I guess that should count as a sack because they love accumulating stat. Yeah, I mean, Bo Nix had one of those against Cincy.
I mean,
they call it a passing
which is really interesting because Perna for years was after Mahomes about those little shuffle passes. Like, you shouldn't count touchdown. Don't even look at me like you
Bo
don't know
Nix
what
is
I'm
the yards
about.
after catch king. Don't give me that crap.
Weeks talking about it.
Yeah, dude, I made fun of Jalen Hurts last week because both of his touchdowns were those to Dallas Goedert. Bo Nix was throwing dimes. Did you see that touchdown to Cortland Sutton? Did you see it?
Okay, so maybe we'll allow the 0 yard sacks, which is wild to me.
Honestly, Scooter, when Dak was doing his post game and the reporter told him that it counted a sack and he was just kind of surprised by it, was a very funny moment. He's like, I would have been surprised Micah didn't get a sack on me. And like, no, it counted as a sack. He's like, oh, what, really? Well, then credit to Micah. He's a great player or whatever he said.
It was crazy. So my second question is, should games be allowed to end in a tie? in the NFL regular season? Should we
Yes.
go to the college rules? Personally, I think we should adapt. If the game is tied after 1 10-minute overtime, we go to 65-yard field goal kicks. What say
Yeah,
you?
what you
The guy
said.
with Brandon
Yeah,
Aubrey.
that's what
You know what,
Brandon
guys?
Aubrey.
Let's just line up the kickers.
Yeah.
No, it should be a shootout. It should be at 40, 50, 60.
Yeah, honestly, it's just be a duel. Get your two best players, and then 5 paces, turn and fire. That's how you win the game.
Oh man.
Yeah. Or it's like a best of 3 skills
Plaxico
competition.
Burress.
Longest field goal, longest pass,
punt, pass, kick.
fastest 40 time by one of your players. And if you can't determine a winner after that, it's a straight up bench press contest between your 2 strongest players.
I
I think
would
ties
like
are
to
funny
see
though.
a field
are
goal kickoff,
Ties
like
are
a
great.
shootout with a kickoff. I think there's some legs there. No pun intended. I think it would be a spectacle to watch. But did you guys know that only 30 games have ended in a tie and over 10,000 games played?
No, I did not know that.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's very rare for games to even end in a tie.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
It
think
seems
that's
like
why-
it's gonna. It's
They don't
gonna
There's actually
become
2 of those in the last 10 years.
Hi,
Cleveland and
Shane.
Detroit.
That's because
What
they
trip-
used to have sudden death.
Yeah, what trips me out now is that all the both overtime games that I saw with the Cowboys, both teams that won the toss deferred when they won the toss. In the past, that would be insane, but now it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well,
You know,
Marty
depending on
Morningweg
how
was a
much they have to
prophet.
score.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
Remember when he got
He was
flack
a-
for
he was
kicking
a
off
man
first?
before his
Now
time.
he's smart. Now he knows.
Mhm.
He was just 20 yards, 2 years ahead of the curve.
All right. Any
All right.
final words before we put our
Ooh.
predictions in and go to the countdown?
Head coaches, they have to do a arm wrestling match.
Yeah,
to determine
Dan
the
Quinn
winner.
is, or what's the name? Dan Campbell's
Yeah.
winning all of those.
Honestly, I feel like you prefer a 40-yard dash, especially when you play the Chiefs. I feel like Peyton could easily beat Andy Reid in a 40-yard dash.
Ooh,
I think
what
so.
I would see to pay. What I would pay to see that.
Hot
I
dog
What
eating
got-
happened to the
contest
countdown?
given to Reed.
Tied
Sing it,
with
Tom.
the Cowboys. The defense let me down.
Down.
I just had to frown through the pain. Micah Parsons, where were you? I wanted LVN and Garrett too, but that pass rush, it just drifted away.
I already know I lost.
I got
$2.
$19.
$2. I
got
wish I had
19?
$2.
I got $2. Where's my $2?
$84.08.
Crap.
$74.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm losing this one. I'm at 425.
Nice.
Like I kept getting like all the big ones. I'm like, no. I'm like, oh please, not me. I'm like, crap. What's wrong with you
What should
people?
we do to the
Hold on.
the?
I have a few
boy?
punishments. I'm still waiting on my Aaron Rodgers jersey to come in. It's been delayed. I have to. Tigers just won the series, which I'm shocked by.
Yep.
I mean, they collapsed.
Cleveland is eliminated. 77 years of pain.
Wow.
Trey,
Cleveland. Yeah, but
what if? What if you have to make a short, right? It could be a YouTube short, but you got to put it like on the Twitters, you got to put it on YouTube.
yeah,
That you are trying to rally fans to try and get in touch with the Pittsburgh Steelers so that you can meet Aaron Rodgers. And you have to mean it with all your heart. You're just like, please, Mr. Rodgers, I've been your biggest fan for all these years. I'd love to get you to sign my jersey.
Yes.
That's what I got today.
We need to create a hashtag for this. Hashtag
I'll
meet
retweet. I will retweet this.
Hashtag meet make a
Meet
wish.
Rodgers.
It's like the perfect level of cringy.
Yes, like a
There's kids
backstory
fucking
with
all
some
like-
emotional music in the back. Aaron Rodgers, ever since I saw you throw the football, I've been
Oh,
in love.
yes.
I will do that, or you have to try and get the Steelers to unblock you on Twitter.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's gonna. I don't know how to get in contact.
That
with
could
them.
be a
That's the problem.
campaign too. Hashtag unblock tree. Man,
I like
I kind of want him
the
to
Aaron
do
Rodgers one too.
the whole
Aaron
short
Rodgers one is way more cringier,
Yes.
and that is my vote.
It is.
yes,
It is.
I
yeah.
agree. I agree. I love
You should
cringe.
pretend that you're from London too, and do it in a British accent. I've been watching.
I did it. Oh, stop accent, I. And it's like half Cockney, half Australian. It's all blurred all over the place.
Or be Irish and be like, I just saw Aaron Rodgers play for the first time.
What in God's name was that five?
That was pretty good.
I'm the leprechaun.
Oh
yeah, I
I'm a
forgot
fan
that's
for
in
life.
Ireland, yeah.
What do you guys have coming out on your YouTube channels?
Right after this, like as soon as the video is done processing, I have a history of Cleveland Municipal Stadium, which was way weirder than you guys remember. Do you know that I'll give you a little teaser. In 1981, the MLB All-Star game got canceled. So they played a dice game in Cleveland Municipal Stadium and they simulated the All-Star game because of the players' strike. It was it's crazy. And they had announcers and a crowd and everything, and they were all watching these guys play dice.
Whoa.
Nutty. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
Be on the lookout for
Get
that.
out,
Any other
refund your
nerds are up.
tickets.
Free Perna? What do we have dropping?
Well, I'm working on Meet the Mets 2025. So
And
Oh,
meet
man,
Aaron
come on,
as well.
dude.
And then
Meet Aaron.
hashtag meet Aaron.
Hashtag meet Aaron.
He's
Yeah.
Aaron. I'm your biggest.
And we will all retweet it.
Yes.
Yes.
we will.
Hashtag sign
it's like
jersey.
crawling in my
And
skin
solidarity.
right now. It's like
I'll give you. You don't have to put it on YouTube. I feel like YouTube's a lot, but if you put it on Twitter, I feel like that's good.
maybe
enough.
Twitter and Insta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perna, we got coming up.
Power rankings is up, and then we're working on a video about how bad the worst teams in the league are right now. Because
Mm,
it's
that's
been
fair.
terrible.
The Cowboys should not be a part of that list. Just
They're
their
not.
defense.
Don't worry. They're not.
That's
Even
what
close.
he said.
I'll be streaming tonight's game, where the primetime streak continues. So come and
God save your soul. Tom.
yeah, come and join. And hey, we are officially 94,000 away from 1 million.
Let's go.
There you
boys.
go.
Let's
There
go,
we
boys.
go.
Let's go,
Subscribe.
boys.
Subscribe to
I
this
got
guy.
the NFC East meeting dropping immediately following this. It's a banger, so be on the lookout.
All right.
After this. Oh, and also, if you're an NBA fan, I just went to Magic Media Day, interviewed some Magic players. So check out that
I saw
interview.
that you did that.
on-
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. So
Who's the most interesting, most engaging Magic player?
everyone already knows it's Mo Wagner. He's like people love to interview him because he's such a high energy guy. But shout out to Jace Richardson as well. He knew who I was before I even interviewed him.
Isn't Mo Wagner like a double machine? He's gonna grab boards and score points. Like that's his
He
thing,
is, but he recently has been injured a little bit. So
Oh,
he's rehabbing back. Franz, his brother, also balling on the team. So they're in the Euro League, taking
Played, Greg.
over
Well played.
Germany. So
Yeah.
glad to have them back
Okay.
in the States. But this has been another Clickbait episode. We will see you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Kill me. I do not want to do